Sheikh Mohammed Al-Yaqoubi is a prominent Syrian Sunni Islamic scholar and a vocal critic of the so-called Islamic State. He was an early opponent of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and was forced to flee the country soon after the peaceful anti-government protests began in 2011. He joins me now from Copenhagen. Sheikh Al-Yaqoubi, thank you very much for joining us here on Impact. We've seen some shocking acts of brutality by these terrorists who call themselves Islamic State, but can you help us understand their ideology? Why are they so violent?
Well, these people carry hatred in their hearts against the world. The ideology has always existed. The problem is offering it a ground. Now, the Assad regime's atrocities against its people and the inaction of the international community is what offered this ground to these people. Now, Muslim jurists by consensus agreed that no free man or woman should be enslaved. And Islam cannot accept the enslavement of any person on the face of the earth. These people are acting just against the Holy Quran, against the prophetic tradition, against the principles of Islam jurisprudence.
So why do they call themselves Muslims then and say that they're preaching a caliphate, if you may?
Well, because this is probably the easiest way for them to reach their goals because of the Muslim environment around them. They want to play with Muslims' emotions because of the oppression people have suffered from for 50 years from Assad, and of course because of the anti-Western emotions around the world. They want to exploit this to play with this as a political card. The first victims actually are Muslims. They're killing Muslims. The largest number of their victims are Muslims.
You say that these people are not Muslim and they're going against everything that Islam stands for. Then what are Muslim leaders doing to be more vocal? Are they doing enough?
We're doing a lot, but nothing is enough compared to their savagery. Recently, I co-signed a statement, a letter to Baghdadi. It's available on the internet, refuting every allegation with proofs from the holy text, sacred texts of the Holy Quran and the prophetic tradition. We addressed Muslims and warned them that what they hear from the Islamic State, so-called Islamic State, are just illusions and fallacies. More is to be done. I agree with you, Yelda. More is to be done. There's nothing enough compared to this level of savagery that spread all of a sudden.
Well, what is it about their ideology or Baghdadi himself that's captured the imagination of so many young men and women who then go to Syria, go to Iraq to fight alongside them?
Well, we should not forget the fact that till now, after 3.5 years of the Syrian crisis, we have over 200,000 people killed and 9 million people displaced and over 3 million to 4 million around Syria in refugees camps. These images provoked people from around the world. This is what they are using. So we need to understand that in order to put an end to ISIS, we need to cut off the roots of its existence, what caused it to spread in Syria. These people came from all around the world against the will of the Syrian people. We spoke many times that we don't need in Syria foreign fighters.
But there must be something, Sheikh, sorry to interrupt, there must be something about their ideology, something about what Baghdadi is preaching that's taking someone from London, someone from Sydney, someone from New York to go and fight there. What exactly is it? I mean, yes, they may be using the Syrian cause, but these people are very brutal. How is it that they're drawing so many young people to themselves?
I wonder with you, what type of brutality, what brings this brutality, what brings a person living in England or somewhere else in a peaceful society to show this level of brutality? This is really a big question for psychologists to analyze. But from an Islamic point of view, there is no justification. It may be political, but there is no justification in Islam to any of what they're doing. It must be denounced, and these people are un-Islamic.
How do you describe what Abu Bakr Baghdadi is preaching?
Preaching hatred, extremism. What he's preaching is leading not only the region, but the world actually to self-destruction. You cannot turn 1.5 billion Muslims into monsters and bloodsuckers in that way. Islam is a religion of mercy. Islam is a religion of peace. This is what the word itself suggests. We're not at war with the Western countries. There is never in Islam anything that would allow killing a humanitarian aid worker or a journalist or a prisoner even in a state of war. He's crossing all lines in Islam and religion and ethics.
As a prominent Syrian Sunni cleric, what would you say to Baghdadi?
Well, first of all, he has to stop his people and resign and submit himself to the local authorities so that he is put in court as responsible for all these crimes committed. He cannot escape justice. And the people, I should warn, the people who have not yet had blood on their hands should withdraw. These people are not fighting for Islam or in the name of Islam. They are fighting for personal ambitions, and they should stop immediately and repent to God and go back to their countries. And those people who have blood on their hands should be brought to justice.
Should the Western world and governments be doing more to work with Bashar al-Assad to fight this menace that's been created in his country?
Oh no, Yelda, you don't want more recruitments to pour into ISIS hands. What we need to do actually is to end the Assad regime, to remove Assad, to force Assad into the negotiating table and unite the Syrian people. You know, airstrikes are not enough to put an end to ISIS. You need the best people who would fight terrorism and put an end to ISIS are the Syrian people. Now the Syrian people are divided, pro-Assad against Assad, because of long-standing, because of the oppression of the Syrian regime, and they have been standing for 3.5 years against the Assad regime. Put an end to the Assad regime. Unite the Syrian people, and then you will see ISIS going to its end.
Sheikh Yaqoubi, so much to talk about, but we've run out of time. Thank you very much for joining us here on Impact.
Thank you.
That was Sheikh Mohammed Al-Yaqoubi, a prominent Syrian Sunni Islamic scholar talking to us from Copenhagen.